Okay, is it recording? For some reason on my end, I only see the slides. Do you see the recording button? Record.
Yes,
Perfect,
it's recorded.
perfect, perfect, perfect.
But you
Uh,
can't see us at all, even on the side?
I don't see for some reason, but I'll have to figure it out. So today, what we said we will talk about are four things. Why the planning paradigm is shifting, why manifestation and action. So, what I was doing before, and I was doing a lot of manifestation before the 18. I was doing that as well. So, let's talk a little bit about it. Why that does not work all the time. There is a big gap in between, and we have to fill it with something else that really makes things happen. We'll talk about four pillars of success mindset or four pillars of this system of making success happen. And then I'll give you some of the tips on my goals that I set prior year, what worked, what didn't. How does it sound to you? Good.
Yes.
And I do want to know what you guys are envisioning for yourself next year, because the next year will really be catalyzing all this change. The change that started last year, that started to shake up us from the awakening, this change is called the Age of Aquarius. It's the dawn of new era. And Aquarius, it's quite difficult than what we um, are used to. It's the air sign, and the air is the substance, it's the matter that cannot be contained. We all breathe the same air, we all share it. It's not like land or earth, the materialism that ruled us for a couple hundred years before, where it was accumulation, it was wealth, it was cars and whatnot. This is a little bit different, and it's more around individual freedom to give. You see, there is this, I love this little um, meme that I borrowed from my teachers, twinray.com is the source of it. But it shows you a little bit what this new era is about. Um, and it's all about soul's expression. And you see Jupiter, Uranus there, Saturn, and it tells you in the astrological language what you give is what you receive, and you'll receive it very quickly because air moves fast. Um, and and we will be in the disruptive mode for some time before this new framework, new belief system kind of settles in, before we rewire ourselves in. And 21 is all about rewiring, all about embracing this change and jumping on the bandwagon and really trying different things other than what we've done in the past. And it will disrupt everything. And this the spiral of change is very quick. You saw what was going on in 2020. The COVID flipped everything upside down, and it's not over. And we will be continued to, we will be flipped over and over until we get it. And if we don't, the spiral sucks you in. Very easy to go down. Losing job, economic disruption, social political disruption. If you watch the news, you know what's going on. It's not stable, and you have to build your own stability, and not in the old way. And hopefully, this is not new news to most of you. And hopefully, it resonates. Manifestation versus action. So a couple of years ago, I was spending a lot of time with my eyes closed, um, doing all sorts of meditations, visualizations, and creating emotional outbursts. There was an app that I used that was called Mind Movie, and it's a wonderful tool where you can create, and those who are familiar with Joe Dispenza work, you know what it is. It is you create the vision of your future, whatever goal you want to achieve, you visualize it in very graphic terms. You literally create a movie of your life with images, with the music that inspires you and calls the emotions, calls the energy out of you, and you manifest it into the universe. And I know a lot of people are doing this for, let me stop sharing because I don't see you. A lot of people are in the new age. This is the thing to do. You manifest, you attract, and a lot of people are lost in that paradigm of manifesting. You can spend years doing it, and you're stuck. I tell you, you are stuck, and it works. Yes, it does. For sometimes, and in my book, something that works sometimes, occasionally, it doesn't work because it can be applied for everybody at all times. So, and I've also been on the other spectrum where I was like a doer, do. I was in strategy, I was in finance. And as long as I close the door and I sit and I do it, I spend the whole night doing. And somehow that promotion doesn't come. So when I was at MetLife, my most recent job before, in the prior incarnation, every day I would come into that building. I wanted badly a new title. I was status driven. So a new title in corporate structure in the old system is power, authority. And I was craving it, money, benefits, whatever. It was good stuff. And every morning I would go to that MetLife building, and Josie was with me in the MetLife. And all I wanted, I was visualizing the VP of strategy. I was at the strategy unit at that point. And VP is very high. Maybe for banking it's not, but there, and that's what I did all day long. Morning, I was coming with that, I was leaving with that, and I was grinding. And nada, nada, no VP for 3 years. So it's a gap. It's a gap, and there is another way. There's something in between. There's something that could bridge, manifest, visualize your heart desire, and then do what you would typically do, get off your butt and do and shuffle. But the two need to be connected. And for to understand that, you need to understand a very, very simple tool. It's an ancient system. This is what Tibetan monks are taught in the monasteries, where they spend years just to get to some level of wisdom and understanding. It's a very simple tool, but very profound. And it explains how the reality is created. And if I show, it's called a pen. When I show you this tool, this stick, and ask you what it is, most of you will answer, it's a pen. It's a pen. I have a dog, and I show this to a dog. What do you think the dog will see? I have a,
Something to chew on.
yeah, it's a chew toy. I have this image of the dog. For some reason, the dog does not have the seeds, the mental imprints in their consciousness to see this as a pen. And we can all create a concilium of the smartest minds and explain to the dog, her name is Rosa. Rosa, you write with it, you write contracts, you count, you do stuff. This is not to chew. This is not a chew toy. So the dog sees the chew toy. I put it in front of the ant, and what do you think the ant sees?
A giant thing.
Yeah, it's a mountain to climb. It's the mountain to climb. And if I put it just on the table, everybody goes, ants leave, I leave, people leave, dogs leave. What do you think this is?
Everybody? You mean?
Everybody's gone. Nobody's in the room.
Oh,
This just lays on the table. What is this?
an inert thing that it's useless.
It's energy.
It's just a potential to be whatever it is. It's a stick, and we all put something on it to make it what it is. But it is devoid of any properties of its own. It's just a tube. It's an elongated form. And based on, bless you. So it's nothing on its own. And everybody sees based on what's here, what's somewhere in the consciousness. How does this become a pen? Well, in the first example, you just have to kind of think, where does this reality come from? Does it come from the pen onto me? Or does it come from me onto the pen? Is something is going onto the pen on my mind screen to make it a pen or a cute toy or a mountain or good knows what? Somebody who's going to be more advanced, I don't know, in a year with telecom is going to, they might see something else with it. So the reality of this, where does it come from? Does it come onto me? Or does it come from me? What do you think?
I guess your parents told you that that's a pen and you use the pen to write.
Right. But the reality of it comes from me.
It's
Something
your
in my,
perception, I think.
yeah. So somehow maybe at some point, I had a vision or action or something that created an imprint of this to be a pen. Maybe parents told me, maybe before the parents told me, but basically the mind is just unconscious screen, empty screen, an object. And it transmits on that screen what is in our field of consciousness. Somebody could be the biggest bastard in the world, but I'm sure there are many people, at least one, I'm so sorry, that mom for sure, that think that that person is an angel. So it is in our perception that creates the reality. How does that get into our reality box, into the in that gap between manifestation and action? It the mind literally is like a camera, and this camera records 24/7 everything that's going on in the 6 inches in between, everything that is thought, said, or done at an extreme rate of 65 frames a second. 65 frames a second. And these are the mental seeds that go into that consciousness that then shows everything on the screen. We'll literally live in the 6 feet radius, and everything comes from our own consciousness. And mind is not conscious. Mind is just a screen. And so then if everything that we create 65 clips a second, then doubles. And this is not made up stuff. This is tested and proven by the scientists spend there is some sort of a mind consciousness study project that humanity spent billions on. And some cultures, like for instance Tibetans, they had 1,000 years of ultimate peace. Nobody disturbed them. And they spend that 1,000 years to study consciousness, to study mind and observe it. So we are not even near to what they know. And now the scientists study Tibetans, what goes on between their 6 inches right here. So everything is recorded and then transmitted. Every single mental imprint grows like a seed. It's literally like farming. The seed doubles every 24 hours. And then we see what we give, essentially what we think, how we use the energy of that seed, is what we see in our reality. And that is very profound concept. And I know it's very difficult to get right off the bat. It kind of messes up with your mind. They say it takes 3, you need to hear this, the pan, or you can think of it as echo. There are many different ways to explain it, but you need to hear it 3,000 times to get it. It's a lot of times. It's a lot of times. Because we are wired to think differently. We're so wired to think the other way. So everything is recorded. Every single thing doubles 24 hours. That's why every single scripture that is out there, whatever religion or non-religion you pick, it all says the same. Give what you want to receive. Give to receive. There's nothing really that we have in our life is what we didn't give. We created it. I cannot see this as a pen if I didn't give it to somebody. I cannot have good health if I didn't give it to somebody. I cannot have money if I didn't give it to somebody. And you don't need to give a lot. These seeds are tiny. They double every 24 hours. You don't need to give your shirt and your house and everything. You just need to do it consistently, a little bit with right motivation. Motivation is 99% of what you give. So I could be sitting there at work and giving everybody all my talents, all my skills and everything, but my motivation could be screwed up. I could be driven by money, by status, by recognition. And that's exactly what I want to give. That will color everything I get. My reality would reflect it to me right back. So it is called cause and effect. It is called karma. You can call it whichever way you want, but it is the key. It's a blessing. This universe is so beautiful. I was driving the other way and just thinking how gentle, how tender this universe is. You do something crappy, it grows. It takes a long time for you to get it back. The universe gives us a lot of time to kind of work it through, understand that. But not anymore. In the air, everything becomes quick. I remember one teacher told me, if we killed a mosquito and the second later somebody slapped it across the face, we would know exactly how we created it. But we have a long time, and some of these seeds take a very long time to germinate and grow. And we don't have time. So I want to give you tips to live life today, because you know a lot of people who do a lot of good and they die in poverty. There are a lot of people who give and selflessly serve, nurses. I mean, a ton of people who give selfless service, and they have nada. They don't have family. They don't have resources. They don't have means. So it is the system that needs to be studied to do it properly. I know, Galochka, you can't see the slides. So let me go back into my slides. So the key here is to rethink rethink what we think about the reality. And that is very empowering. Little by little, it becomes very empowering. You become good at it. You test it on little things, on small things, but it is always give to receive. And that is the only way. The only way I have freckles, I look a certain way, I live a certain way, I am surrounded by certain people, I breathe this air, whether it's clean or not, whether it's in New York or some in the country. I've created people around me, and it all comes from me. And if I've created something that I don't like, I can recreate it. I can change it. I can change it. So this is the dog, and this is the core of the system. Let me scroll down. Let me ask you, what did you come with? Could you type, there are usually 5 types of different goals that people have. So first and foremost, we want to have health. We want to be in a healthy body. We want to see everybody around us healthy. Then we want lifestyle. We want certain lifestyle. We want material goods. We want money. We want shelter. We want maybe to be able to travel. Whatever that is, everybody has a different kind of goal. The third one is relationships. We are communal beings, especially in the age of Aquarius. It's all about we versus I. So, and in COVID kind of showed us we need us, we need each other. So it's kind of the first wake of call. It's we versus I. And so relationships are extremely important. So that's the third bucket. The fourth bucket, it's peace of mind. So peace of mind, who are the people on the streets? There are a lot of us are just ripped by conflict, in a conflict, and we are fighting with that reality that is on the screen. We're fighting with the TV, which is the mind screen, and don't know how to turn back in, how to see through the maze of all of these programs that we've created through lifetimes. We've been asleep for lifetimes. And maybe in this lifetime, it's time to say, basta, enough. I'm going to wake up. I don't want to live this craziness life after life after life. So that's the fourth bucket, peace of mind, balance, harmony. And the fifth bucket, for somebody who maybe is more successful in those other areas of life, and they are craving purpose, they're craving soul connection, they're craving to give more. They've achieved all of these things, all these good things, and they want to give more, and achieve more. So the 5 buckets, when I started jumping into this, I had enough money. I already bought an apartment, I bought a house, a car, another car. I traveled. I already have a husband. I have children. I have all of this, and I'm still not happy. Where's that happiness? And I was scratching my head and asking God Almighty what I'm here for. So it would be helpful for me to give you good examples how to program your goals. If you tell me where you are in the 1 to 5 buckets, are you 1, 3, 4, mostly 1, mostly 2? What is most important to you, for you to focus on today? You can chat, you can say whatever works for you.
Depends, Lena, if it's emotional goals or physical goals or personal growth or altruism or work-wise or spiritual goals. There are many goals.
Yeah. So in those 5 buckets,
What was the fifth? The spiritual?
So the buckets is A, health, body. 2, money, shelter, lifestyle. 3, relationships. 4, peace of mind, balance, habits. I'm not gaining weight, I'm losing weight. Gaining, losing, peace of mind, constantly torn by stuff. Just meditate just to come to peace. That's the 4th bucket. And the 5th one, what the heck I'm here for? I want to fulfill my purpose. How do I give more?
I already have mine.
You have mine. Okay, so you seems like you have it in all boxes, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I created a calendar,
That's a
and
wonderful, wonderful calendar.
it has monthly goals and yearly goals and mindfulness stuff.
1 million meditator guys. It's available. Sign up. What about you, Randy? What is your heart desiring?
Well, that's an interesting question because I'm single and I've been single for, it'll be 6.5 years now. I mean, I've dated or whatever. So that's always my heart desire. But I have an internal conflict around it. And I end up spending more time on my business working on manifesting that than the guy. So it's an interesting thing.
Relationship. Gala, Natasha, Josie, do you want to say? If not, we'll jump.
Yeah, I actually wrote. So for me, all are important except for money. Like I
Except
don't
for
need to
money.
focus on it. Thankful I have my career work. So, but health, relationships, peace of mind, and purpose, personal development, like the other 4 are super important.
Perfect. Super.
I would say that for me right now is the main focus is on serving and relationships.
Perfect. So
So mine's health, even though I didn't say that, because that's what when I meditate, I've been wanting to use Dr. Joe's stuff and see what I can accomplish with my belly and my back and stuff.
Somebody else joined. I'm not sure who. Josie, what are you?
Yeah, I would say, and Lena, you know, I would say unconscious, inconsciemment, okay, unconscious, I cannot pronounce it. I've been working on this indirectly, and I would say at the beginning of the year, my 3 main area of focus connect on this. And when I say that 3 area is obviously, I think all of us, we all have been working or are working, is I started my own business. So at least now, you know, the hardest thing is to generate income. So I'm generating income through advisory work. So that allows to keep up to survive, I would say. It brings also some form of peace of mind. So that's ongoing. That's based on, as you just said, my expertise, whatever knowledge I've acquired over the years in a professional context. So I'm still connected. Second is the notion of giving back. So when I say giving back, I'm on the board of my professional association, and that's totally volunteering. And when I say volunteering, it's I'm at a the profession is at its inflection point, so needs to be transformed and this and that, and therefore and expand. And so for me, this is where the creativity, as you say, not going back to the old paradigm, but you know, taking a stab as to what could be forward looking. And I gain definitely more. Again, when you say in terms of soul and balance, and when we say forward looking in financial services industry right now, it's finally thinking customer first. So what brings people, you know, you bring solution as opposed to be driven. You know, the customer centricity is at the heart of it. Granted, you need to make money out of it, but it's not so much driven like Lena was mentioning it in terms of like feeding and going around the system to get from A to B. So it really needs to be looked at carefully. And when I say carefully is obviously if it hasn't been this way, it's because it's not trivial. and it needs to change. So somebody's going to have to take the bullet, or somebody's going to have, yeah, the bullet either in terms of trying, failing, and trying and failing and doing it. Because at the end of the day, call it Aquarius, need a balance. Things are not in balance, and that's a way of giving back. Also, and that third bullet in terms of transformation is a focus of my startup. It has, you know, everything is all about ESG. Environment is one thing, but S as in social, which is not as easily or measurable, is equally needed. So,
Good.
so that's why I would say it's ongoing.
Good. So it gives me some sense. So relationships, money, health.
And if I was long, it's because usually I catch up with Lena before and we didn't have a chance. So,
That's okay.
that's why I've given her
That's okay.
some material here.
So here is the framework. It's 4 steps. Farming. Leave 10% for next year's crop. Give 10% of your income. So it's give just a little bit to get back. So 4 pillars, and I think of it as farming. First, you choose. For a while, I was driven by my ego, and I wholeheartedly believed that I really wanted. How often do you go off and you start chasing something that you didn't really want? It's because it's not in your true desire. It's not in, and you put a tremendous amount of energy to chase that. And you don't listen to your heart. You don't listen to your soul. There's no inner connection. It's all here. And a lot of women have that problem because a lot of us are busy women, educated. We went through some schooling and we compete with the guys. So we got that system, the achiever, go-getter. And we think, we strategize, we do step by step. It's very linear. Do this to get that. At the very least, I am that way. So for me, it's to connect with yourself. And when you do a couple of times and get what you don't want, maybe you married the wrong person because you just want to be married. I have a lot of friends that did that just for the sake of marriage, or you get a job just for the sake of money or something else. And so there has to be a real emotional connection when you choose any goal. And the big one, when you want this goal, think about all. Think about the we. What is from that? How others would benefit, and others are not the others out there, some sort of a world, planet Earth, all humanity, people around you, your people, your world. Everybody has a different world. What's the benefit there? Who's going to gain from that? And if nobody, think more. What helps is to get to the core of your desires, to take, 10 days. And for 10 days, just write everything you want. Everything. The chewing gum, the balloon, to go to the moon, to go to the Himalayas, write it all out. And I promise you, after a couple of days of writing gazillion wishes, you'll come. There might be a lot of tears, but you'll come to some realization that what you really, really, really want. So that's step 1. You choose. Then you need another person. You need somebody to give this to. You need to plant it. Everything that you have in life, you gave. Everything that you don't, you didn't. So you need somebody to bounce for the seed to go. The other person is a dark soil for this seed to germinate. And the seed already has a good motivation, a good intention. It has a lot of your emotional energy. And now you just need a soil to plant it in. And it's always another person or people. It's always, always, always. And that's the gap. That's the bridge from manifestation to doing. You need to cross that bridge. Think about somebody who needs this same. So let's say I'm going to give you an example of a relationship, right? So I'm going to talk about a relationship. We'll talk about my failed goals on self-realization and purpose. We'll talk about, I'll talk about a couple of health as well, things and financial freedom that resonate with you, just to give you some examples of what I have tried. But you need to find somebody who needs the same. So if you into a relationship, you need to find somebody who's longing for the same. And here our heart closes very quickly. This is a point where you say, wait a minute, what do you mean give money if I don't have money? Give compassion, companionship if I don't have anybody? If I don't have, we always have. It is not only the material, and I told you at the beginning, you don't need to give a shirt. You need to give something with good intention, as little as is comfortable for you. Because the seed, when you get a watermelon in the store, it grew from a tiny little seed. So trust me, this is how it all happens, how it all magnifies on the TV of your mind, from the very little mental imprints, from very little seeds. A huge sunflower grows from a tiny small seed. Everything goes from the seed. Look at the oak tree, multi-ton oak tree it grows from small oak. It grows every 24 hours. It doubles. So you need to pick the person that wants the same and give it to them on a regular basis. You can't just throw something in the ground and forget about it. You have to tend to it. That's gardening one-on-one. So you need to do it on a regular basis, weekly. And you don't have to sit and do nothing else but support that person. No, say I'm going to do for an hour. I don't know, if somebody's looking for a job, help another person. There are a gazillion things you can do to help somebody do a job. Or for instance, if somebody is building the business, there's so many things I can help with that I cannot help myself in my own business. But there are a ton of things that I can apply to Josie, for instance, you. After a while, I did spend 20 years in corporate, so I do know something. And then that's the second step. That's the bridge. And the third one, you have to water the seed. That's going back to the people who serve, give. Nurses go to work every day, give their heart out, have nothing to show for it. You have to find joy in it and find gratitude for that ability to do that. So joy and gratitude is the water, is the fertilizer that will make it germinate in this life. It's an accelerator. You have to go to bed thinking, what did I do today? And God forbid, never bring your problems to bed, because your mind never stops. Your mind reboots like a computer. So have that dialogue, negative dialogue with you way before you go to bed. Go to bed with joyous, peaceful thoughts. Let the mind chew on it, because you already know the mind is a neural network, and these highways, they're deep trenches. So build new highways, build new trenches. Think positive. Think, don't diminish what you did. Think of those things. Just go through the day in a very positive way. And then there is the big one. If you want to grow something, we all have a lot of weeds. We have more weeds than the good stuff. And the weeds suffocate everything. I remember, I don't know, 10 years ago, I started to read Chopra. And I forgot the name of his book. He wrote so many. But there it was weed the garden, weed your, and I didn't understand what I'm supposed to weed. All of this language that is very esoteric, it's all the language of the past. So you need to get with the mental and emotional obstacles that suffocate the seeds. And it's a separate conversation altogether. And there are ways to get to the weeds very, very quickly. And I can attest to that. So 4 steps, all you need to know, everything is a pen, and you need 4 steps and you'll be set. You just have to pick something small to achieve, to prove to yourself. This is not based on some belief that you just believe blindly. You have to test that. It's a very logical system. It's very intellectually comprehensible. You don't need to journey far into the crevices of your mind to get here. It's right here at your fingertips, and you'll see how the mind frame changes. How all of a sudden, who was mean, nasty, yelling, change. I used to, so let's talk a little bit about the examples. A relationship, since it resonated with so many, I thought it would be a good example. But my husband, before 3 years ago, we moved from New York City, and my husband was commuting to New York and lived there for 4 days, and then come over the weekend, come Fridays home. And I was happy he was gone. And there's something else. There's something in the chat. For some reason, I don't see you or the chat. Let me stop this just in case we all been nasty. Okay. Sorry. I'm going to close the chat. So I remember when he would come on Thursday, he would start yelling at me. Just yelling. He was angry. He was barking at me. All I wanted is to distance myself from him. And the longer he was in New York, the better. And I worked on it. And when I understood the concept that if you yell at your kids in the morning, the husband will show up, the pan will show up in the evening, and it will not be a pan. It will be a chew toy. It will be a barking toy. It will be something. But what I've created in the morning or yesterday, he will deliver like a mailman, like a echo delivers the sound. It's always exaggerated. It always comes like, oh my goodness, where does this come from? Who is there? Nobody's there. It's the echo of your own actions. It just, it bounces back and comes right back to you. And so the barking husband never exists and never existed and never will exist. Nothing what it is on its own, the way it is. Everything is projection of your own thoughts, words, and actions. Everything. And so in this system, this is how I created a loving relationship and husband. Let's share the screen again. So let's do it step by step. Here's my husband, here's me. We recently went to Sedona for New Year's. This is what I wanted. I wanted intimate connection. I didn't want the barking husband. I didn't want this partnership where we just attend to the kids and everybody does their own stuff and we just coexist. It's not deep, it's not meaningful. I wanted a kindred spirit. I wanted deeply intimate relationship, unconditionally nurtured. And I wanted to be able to speak the same language. So I was deep in the spirituality, first in New Age, all sorts of flavors until I found a true path. But he was completely off and never supported this. It was like, he supported me, but it was like mumbo jumbo. He thought I was completely messed up. There's something deeply wrong with me. And I very much want him to be on the same path with me. So this is what I started looking. So deep companionship, kindred spirit, unconditional, intimate, nurturing. So essentially, if you don't have a relationship, you start with companionship. You want somebody next to you. You want somebody to go home to first, and then all the other qualities around them. But when you realize that, and through a lot of battles, you realize that this is what you want, and you don't need to go get another husband or another boyfriend. You really don't. They are the pain. You just need to change yourself. So it's much harder, trust me, it is much harder to find a new one than to change the old one. Once you get this ego out of the way and you stop believing and attaching to the mind nonsense that comes to you, that you created, when you stop attaching to it, you start working on it. It becomes easier. So step one, goal, emotional charge. What's the good for many? Oh my goodness, my children don't have to hear us bickering. We could be so much more powerful and help so many more people when we're together rather than wrestling and split. So there is a greater good. The greater good, even just for my own family. And the couples that are on the same spiritual journey, they're extremely powerful just by anchoring the energy of peace. And you've all came in contact with those people. So there's a greater good. Then I went to a nursing home. I applied and I found, because where do people need companionship? People, and you don't go to the bar, you don't go to the match.com. Maybe you do that, but you need to build the bridge first so that you can cross to the result, that the seeds could flourish as results. So this is the bridge. Who needs intimacy? Who needs companionship? Who wants nurturing, unconditional? People who are split from their families for whatever reason. And nursing home is a very good example. So this is Bobby. She passed away last year. She was 102. This is Millie. She's still alive. The nursing home is on quarantine, but there is FaceTime. You can always drop packages, and like a clock, every week, with some exception, I was there for an hour. You walk in for an hour unconditionally, giving this time to them, listening to their stories, listening to looking at everything that's there, because it's just a reflection of you. So it's you. And grateful that these two ladies, for instance, in my case, lived for 102 years, and the other one is 93, so that Lena Gerba one day could come and plant a good seed for myself. I'm not giving them a favor. They are giving me a favor. They are the soil for my relationship to flourish. They are the soil for me to plant the good karma for myself. And that's the attitude you have to have when you go there. And and little by little, they will open your heart, little by little. So this is year 3. Millie, the Bobby, the light one, the white one, she was like a ray of light, always makeup, always dressed, doing exercises, the 102, always happy, very generous. The other one is my dark side. So always unhappy, always critical, always not tidy, eating everything. So it's just, and now Millie is changed. She is different. She's no longer, I don't see her anymore. I don't see her anymore as that. She has changed. And so the change happens. The husband doesn't walk into the house. The husband is close, thanks to COVID. Works from home. We're much closer. There's no more barking. So I cleaned up the weeds, a lot of different weeds, and every single goal, every single thing that you want has a cause and effect, and it's much deeper study, but I want to give you some taste so you can start moving with this. So frequently going once a week, you don't need to do more, an hour a week you can afford. If not, do bi-weekly, do monthly, whatever. There are a ton of lonely people. If you live in the city, when I lived in the city, I didn't know most of the people who lived in my building. There are a ton of lonely people that are scared, don't have any family. So there's no shortage of that. You don't need nursing home. You can be in the cozy in your own apartment building. And a lot of weed work, ton of weed work. So as my mentors say, the 99% of realization or any kind of transformation, enlightenment, whatever you want to call me, is at the weed work. It's cleansing, because we have more of that crap than of the good seeds. We have enough good seeds. We don't rejoice them. We don't notice them. We don't pay attention. But I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you. But weed control, working with the weed, is the hard, heavy work. But you know what? It's the most noble work. It's the best service work, because everything you do to you, we are connected with each other. We are that air that we breathe. And it's all in the cellular matrix. And once you change yourself, you change 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. I'm freezing myself. Forward, because because of that deep connection. So it's for the benefit of so many. In your ancestral fleet that your DNA is connected to, there are 144,000 souls. A ton of them, most of them, cannot do anything for them. Who knows in what realms they are? They cannot help themselves. They're all cheering. Leah, Gala, Randy, Natasha, Josie, let's go. Please, please uncork that stuff. Remove it. It's not you. It's just a veneer. So that's the relationship gig. It takes some time to absorb. As I said, we have a lot of blocks right here that block us. You know, one of my mentors said, in relationships, I'm going to go to the very heart of it. You cannot jump into relationship over your mother. You cannot. It is the very first portal that opens the door. And if that relationship is not healed, nothing will happen. It is the parents, the image of the parents. Those are the two doors that open the matter. Mom opens the matter for you, the material world, opens the relationship. And it doesn't matter if mom is not alive anymore. It really doesn't. That relationship doesn't sever. Mom is you in your prior life. Mom shows where you stopped. She's doing a huge, grand disservice to you on, taking diseases, taking whatever, so that you see what you need to work on, see how it will pan out, because you've lived this already. You just didn't go far enough. So mom is the portal, and there is a whole work, and I will, if it resonates with people, I will launch something that helped me quite a bit. I call it Mama Let Me Live, but you have to heal that relationship. It's mother and it's father. There are two of them. So, one of my goals, and it's connected to the relationship, was to have a sincere relationship with my parent. These are my goals, and I'm just going through them. Very thorough work from last year. And what I wrote, I feel great gratitude and respect for my parents. We speak heart to heart without complaints, criticism, and offenses. And, my mom lives with me. And imagine, so Natasha knows, some of you know what it is to live with mom, where it's like constant this, everything annoys you, what she does, where she goes, whatever. It's just a struggle. It's like you want to run from your house, you want her to run away. And she did me, what if I have nothing to clear? Good, Galichka, you stay. We'll talk about something else. So, but mom, I remember when you ask God Almighty, however you want to call it, source, to ask God to help you open your heart every day. It will knock the first barrier, because our hearts are so tightly closed. We have walls beyond walls, Chinese walls. So when I asked God to open my heart, 2 days later, my mom went into the hospital with the what do you call it? Stroke, with a stroke. And there, go heal your heart. This is the first obstacle. That wall was broken, and you have to ask for forgiveness. You have to work with it. You have to heal that part. And not only once she was in the hospital, she was in the hospital over the course of time 3 times. And every time you think this is it. So you heal it little by little. So
Dana, I have to go. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't know how long this was going to be.
an hour and a half, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much. So that's the relationship. Let's talk about professional realization, right? Professional realization. This is where I struggled. This is what I wrote for myself on professional realization. I launched personal transformation coaching, targeting my ideal audience with an ideal partner. I wanted to do it with a partner. I did something again that I don't start. No, guys, can you see me? Yes.
Yes.
Good. Sorry, I changed the view. That way, maybe I can see all the time. With an ideal partner, I wanted to do it as a partnership. I have a sense of doing what I love. I'm creating, feeling I can work day and night with joy and endless energy, have genuine connection with people, connect to them in the language that they understand. People trust me. They are enthusiastic, inspired, transformed. I'm in demand, inspired. I feel needed, charged, seeing the success of others. This is what I wrote for myself. This is where I made a mistake. So I chose incorrect partners. I chose the library. I chose a channel. So basically, somebody who doesn't need professionalization, a library, reading courses in the library, it's good for me to expand my audience. It's very selfish partnership, because let me go teach people in the library, they'll know about me and they'll come to me. Do they need professionalization? No, it's not their goal. So here's lesson learned. You have to choose carefully, not for your selfish motivation reason. The motivation has to be pure here. I need to choose, I don't know, Jose, who needs professional realization, Galina, Leah, and help you guys achieve whatever you guys want unconditionally, to get what I need. And at the same time, do these webinars, do whatever I want to do. But this is the mistake. And what stifles us in professional realization a lot is the self-doubt, is the fear, it's the laziness, it's procrastination, it's lack of discipline, and really listening to the chatter in the mind and identifying with it. Because when you ask for people who get what you give freely, they are transformed. And I have a ton of those examples. But it's not the validation that I'm looking for. I'm like, well, there's not a line out of the door. There are not gazillion likes. And you quickly stop, because your motivation then is a reward and recognition. Bravo, Lena, let's go. Oh, you're the best, And that's bullshit. That's one of the 4 incorrect motivations. Now, we said health. Randy left. I'll give you a good one, because some are looking for I needed to have good spiritual guidance. I was conflicted in the 10 plus years that I was self-searching. I've consumed a ton of stuff, new age stuff, other corrupt stuff, all sorts of stuff, religious stuff, non-religious stuff. And I had this mess in my head. You know how sometimes you have so many tools, you don't know what to do anymore. And so I wanted to have a true heart mentor. It's called heart teacher, heart mentor. It's a spiritual mentor that you really open up to, your heart opens up to, who genuinely care, who have gone far ahead and reached the levels that you aspire to. And I aspire to be enlightened in this lifetime. And that's a hefty goal. And you cannot get there without the mentor. You cannot. So I wanted to have a constant contact, have an opportunity to attend retreats and trainings, trust and allow to be guided to the quickest and easiest path, relax completely, surrender and receive. That's what I wanted. Trust and surrender is not my gig. I just want to control everything. So what did I do? What's important very important to find somebody or organization that is a powerful partner. What is the powerful partner? Your parent is always your powerful partner. You will not be here without them. Mother and father, best. The somebody who helped you in the past when you were in deep need, and also somebody who helps many. Somebody who helps many. By helping them, you just accelerate your seeds. You give them an immense power. So think about doctors, clinics. Think about the non-for-profit organizations or profit organizations that help many people. And so what I've done, I picked the organization that that helps on the spiritual path. It's a non-for-profit, and they deal with the ancient wisdom of the Tibet, the Buddhist, and not just Buddhist, literature and wisdom. And people there have gone the path and they know how to teach. And what I've done, I signed up to be an interpreter, transcriber, run the projects for them. Pure volunteer basis. No, I'm not even practicing for the most part what I am translating or transcribing, but I know how many lives are changed as a result of these sacred wisdoms. And I help run project manage. For some reason they tapped me for project management, program management. And I hated that with a passion when I was in corporate. I was like, and all of a sudden somebody knocks at the door and says, could you please project manage this stuff? And I did. I found a mentor in a heartbeat. So this is ancient wisdom. Very powerful organization in terms of how many lives they touch. So you guys have to leave. So let me wrap this up for you. Tell me if this is helpful. Natasha's Turan layer, yes? Okay, I don't know who is on the phone.
Да, Леночка, очень helpful. И что мне нравится, что...
Say in English because not everybody.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I really like...
Английский.
Yes, sorry about that. I like the fact that you support your presentation or workshop with personal examples, because depending on what level people are at, it can be very helpful and inspiring. It's one thing when you read or listen to something, and it oftentimes it goes like that. Okay, people do not register, people do not really have enough motivation to dive deeper. But when it's supported by personal examples or personal achievements or personal transformations, that's what attracts their attention and makes it worth of a try for them.
Okay. So I was going to show you, these are the goals that I set for myself, whether it's travel, spiritual mentorship, money, health, peace of mind, professional, parent. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Thank you, Galchka. It is very helpful. Yeah, you can only teach this if you tried, honestly. And I want to encourage you to try. Because we are getting close to the end of it, I wanted to share with you a simple sort of wisdom from Nagarjuna, one of the books that I have been transcribing this year. He says, and he is called Arya Nagarjuna, Arya, who is the enlightenment, the one who sees, the seer, the sage. And he was sometimes even called the second Buddha. What he says, money comes from giving, happiness comes from being kind, beauty comes from patience, leadership comes from enjoying your work, Peace comes from meditation. Freedom comes from wisdom, and love accomplishes all these goals. Yes, love all, serve all, as some say. But there's a journey to get there. It's not an easy path, but there's no other path. There is no other path. What I wanted to get your feedback on is the idea that I have. It's a 7-day intensive called My Ideal Year. And there we'll go deeper into how to create all of this, whatever the goal is, and also go through the fundamentals of virtues. So at the heart of all of this is motivation and virtue, ethics, and understanding the cause and effect. What is that will you get when you give? It's all about the weeding. It's intensive. It's just as intense as this session. It's overloading. But just to give the information out and also give the tools so you can try on your own. And that is the course that I intend to launch in February. Very good, on the very good terms, monetarily, not a rip-off kind of. And I also am willing to do a one-on-one session and go through each of the individual goals that you guys, just a strategy planning session. And I'll send you more information on that via email if you open to it. What do you think?
Sounds interesting.
Interesting. A lot to absorb. A lot to absorb. Well, contemplate, and I'll do a couple more sessions and give you different angles on this subject. So stay tuned. I really appreciate your time today. I really do. Thank you. Galilea, whoever is on the phone that we cannot see, thank you for joining this session. If you have any questions, thank you, Galochka. If you have any questions, ask me. If not, ask me later. You know how to find me.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. All right.
Lenочка, one quick question. Seeding today for the year, is it any time of the day today, or
Yeah,
is it
seeding-
at the time of the new moon precisely?
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking this. The reason I'm doing it today is because you have to co-create with the universe, and the universe opens certain portals, creates the opportunities, and then you just have to flow through them with grace. So the portal for creation is open from December 18th up until today. And there is a new moon tomorrow. New moon is always a wonderful time to create. You can rewrite your goals every new moon, but try and commit something, some intention today. Try to do it by the end of the day. Write something that is on top of your heart. Even if you don't have a solid plan yet, just go. So today is the good day, and if not today, do it tomorrow. And because the phone line is open, the phone line is open. It's not that it's never it's closed, but there are more favorable days than others to seed the intention. So today is a good day, and Leah might know that too. She follows the Hebrew system.
We go by the moon, and we go by a lunar system, and every month has different letters, and they are streaming down the blessings.
Yes, so today is a good day. Any other?
Можно еще один вопрос? Can you please say a couple of words in terms of when to, at what times every month is the best time to manifest, to formulate your intentions, how to do that, the things like that. I think that will be
So now
helpful for
is
many.
now is the good time. So today, if you have time, good. If you don't have time, make time. And sit and just contemplate and commit to something that you would like, that you aspire to, and then maybe even take an object that is dear to you, some little stone, and bury it with that intention. And then new moons, get yourself a moon calendar, just like Leah was saying. Get a good moon calendar. It's all the internet. And the new moon is seeding the intent. Full moon is looking what grew, if something grew. But on the new moon, and it's different at different hemispheres, at different geographies, I observe new moon and full moon. I use it for clearing. It is very good reboot time. And any time is good. Even the day before and the day after, the 3-day window is good as well. But new is seeding new. So for instance, you wrote something in January and then February comes new moon and you get to a higher realization. Maybe it's not what it was. So look at the old goals, rewrite them, tweak with them. Maybe you see more weeds that are in the way. Think about how you're going to work on them. And then full moon sort of returns to you what you envisioned, maybe years ago, maybe prior year, but you will see what you have created. And then you can ask yourself, wait a minute, I am getting this. So for instance, I'm giving something, always expecting something in return. And what I get now that I'm getting something, and every time I'm getting something, somebody is respecting something in return. So the motivation is not, that's what you need to tweak. Or you give, you do. You go to nursing home and nothing happens. Well, what's the joy? Are you thinking about it? Are you watering the seeds? What about your anger? What about your patience? Anger destroys everything. It's a bomb. It's a nuclear bomb. It's a napalm that burns all the good we create. It is the evil of the evil. And there is ways to kill the anger. There is ways to work on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful time. I'm going to leave you time to think about what we talked and maybe create your goals today. Да?
Lenочka, are you gonna provide a recording to those who attended, or
No,
really
no.
a live mode?
I will do it live. I will do a couple of sessions, but because we discussed your stuff and some of you express what's on your heart, I don't think it's right.
Good point. Very good point. Thank you.
Okay. I have to go. I have to start my day. Thank you so much, everybody. Lena, thank you so much.
Lenочка, go, sister, go.
Yeah,
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Thank
good
you. Пока.
Bye. Пока.
Пока. Bye-bye.